Hello, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about 2 Samuel. So David learns of Saul and Jonathan's death in the battle. He mourns deeply and composes the lament for them. A messenger who claims to have killed Saul is executed by David for raising his hand against the Lord's anointed. David is anointed king over Judah and Hebron. Meanwhile, Ishbosheth, Saul's son, is made king over Israel, leading to a powerful struggle between two factions. Abner, the commander of Ishbosheth's army, becomes delusioned and seeks to ally with David after a conflict of Joab kills Abner, leading to David mourning death. Ishbosheth is murdered by his own commanders, Rechab and Baanah, who bring his head to David, thinking that they will gain favor. David orders their execution for killing an innocent man. David is anointed king over Israel. He captures Jerusalem and makes it his capital. David defeats the Philistines, establishing his reign, and David begins the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, but Uzzah is struck dead for touching it. David dances before the Lord in celebration. God promises David that his lineage will endure forever, and that his son will build a temple. David expresses gratitude and humility before God. Then David defeats various enemies, including the Philistines and the Moabites, and establishes a strong kingdom. He shows kindness to Mephibosheth, who's Jonathan's son. David seeks to honor Jonathan's memory by carrying Mephibosheth, restoring his land and allowing him to eat at the king's table. David sends envoys to comfort Hanun, the king of Ammonites, but they are humiliated. This leads to war, which David wins decisively. David commits adultery with Bathsheba and arranges her husband Uriah to be killed in the battle to cover up the sin. Nathan the prophet confronts David about his actions, and David repents after Nathan's confrontation. Although forgiven, he is told that his household will face turmoil as a consequence of his sin. The chapter also details the birth of sons of Solomon. Amnon, David's son, rapes his half-sister Tamar and Absalom. Tamar's brother seeks revenge and kills Amnon, leading to Absalom's exile. Absalom returns to Jerusalem after 3 years, and Joab orchestrates a plan to reconcile David and Absalom, who eventually is allowed to return to the king's presence. Absalom conspires against David, gaining support of the people, and David flees Jerusalem to avoid the conflict, showing his commitment to peace. As David flees, Shimei curses him, but David chooses to spare him, and Absalom enters Jerusalem and takes over David's palace. Hushai, a loyal friend of David, provides counsel to Absalom, which leads to the delay of Absalom in the pursuit of David, and David's forces prepare for battle. David's forces defeat Absalom's army, and Absalom is killed by Joab, despite David's wishes to spare him. David mourns deeply for his son. David returns to Jerusalem, and the people rally to support him. He reconciles with those who had supported Absalom and shows kindness to Mephibosheth. Sheba and Benjamite leads a rebellion against David, and Joab pursues him, and Sheba is ultimately killed to restore the order. A famine leads David to seek the Lord, resulting in an execution of 7 of Saul's descendants and appease the Gibeonites. David sings a song of praise, recounting his deliverance from his enemies and affirming God's faithfulness. David's last words are recorded, and his mighty men are honored for their bravery. David then conducts a census which displeases God. As a result, a plague strikes Israel. David builds an altar to stop the plague, demonstrating his repentance. And that's 2 Samuel. that being said, I hope that this was insightful. Stay blessed, never stressed, with much peace, much power, much love, much light, and of course, much joy. See you guys next time.